Okay, well, I kind of slowly crawled on that last video. I don't know if it was due to lack of sleep or whatnot, but let's move things along a little faster. I know I have a bad habit of repeating myself. I'm always thinking 1,000 steps ahead on certain things, but let's keep things simple. Now, as I stated before, you're saving up a bunch of money for your next lens, your next camera. Spend $100 to improve your photography tenfold, if not 100-fold. Very, very simple. Like I said, I'm not about spending money at all, but what is the one thing that's going to step up your lighting skills, your light manipulation skills, your photography more than anything else that will pay itself back faster, cheaper, quicker, better than anything else? And you're going to have to train yourself a little bit on this, but it is very easy. You can teach yourself how to do this in a night. All you're going to have to do is learn what angle, what distances, what sort of manual flash exposure you need. You're going to either need a set of wireless triggers, either the good ones or the cheap ones. They don't have to be expensive pocket wizards like this. As I showed you before, attaching a pocket wizard to my SB800, 900, 26, doesn't even matter. I told you that the best speed light to get, you can grab them for 60, 70 bucks, SB28, SB26. It doesn't have to be expensive. You're going to be using this with a wireless trigger. Don't need TTL. Do not need it. Not only do you not need it, nor does any professional really use it, it's also not going to teach you a damn thing. You're going to be using your speedlight in manual mode, or if you want to go a cheaper route, as I told you, you can buy a pair of SC17 flash sync cables. You can daisy chain them together for about 8 feet of reach. Obviously, I would not want to be blocking the light from my umbrella if I have a model over here. I mean, I want to be getting over here, attaching my cable right here. So I do not need wireless triggers. These are, whoops, I hit that with my foot. These are made in Japan. They're only $15. Now you can buy the really, really cheap Chinese ones of these for $9, but they're horrible. They're horrible on failure. Get a used SC17 one. These are high quality suckers made for professional use, and they're only $5 more, for God's sakes. There are things to cheap out on, and I'll be the first one to point out what you should cheap out on, like a cheap Chinese light stand, but don't cheap out on your wiring, don't cheap out on your speed lights. But this is pretty cheap, 60 bucks. So what's the portable package that I'm talking about? Do not need the wireless triggers. Depends on how far away you want to get. They're great if you want to free yourself of the cables, of course. You can daisy chain a couple of these together, get 8 feet, like I said. Get some cheap Chinese triggers if you want, or some pocket wizards. But what am I talking about for $100? Okay? Light stand and umbrella. Oh my God, look how much this weighs. Yeah, okay. Well, what if I want to shoot a family? So I've got a family about 15 feet over there, cranked up to full power, the SB910. It's not good enough. Now, I told you before that you can bring your umbrella out. This acts exactly like a lens. The closer you get it, the more you change the light confinement, the further out you bring it, the more it's going to spread it out, only to a certain point. Okay, only to a certain point. So what could you do? More light, bigger umbrella. How much more expensive is that? Well, you have to ask yourself, what are you going to start to do? You're going to start shooting groups of people? You know, are you going to be at a wedding reception? You're going to bring the light back far enough and throw enough power out there? You know, at some point in time, you are going to have to invest in a studio strobe. Obviously, this is inexpensive. I got a few of these. I mean, 500 bucks a pop. That's not including wireless triggers and umbrellas. Umbrellas are really cheap. What's a cheap alternative? You get yourself 3 speed lights. A little device like this that lets you hold 3 speed lights. It screws right on top of your light stand. 1 speed light here, 1 speed light here, 1 speed light here. Well, I don't have enough coverage with that little umbrella. I don't have enough coverage with this little dinky umbrella that comes in a $20 package. Are there cheap ways around that? Yeah, there are. How expensive is it? 45 bucks. 3 speed lights, full power. Need a big enough of a parabolic reflector to illuminate a large group of people. Or you want to bring the light back far enough at a wedding reception, either indoors or outdoors, where you're actually framing, you know, the bride and groom or some of the family members. Remember, you layer with your light. A lot of you are unfamiliar and scared of speed light use. Layer your light. Take a test shot, expose for the background. Okay, you're going to set your shutter speed. Obviously your max shutter speed preferably. Adjust your aperture as needed to get the correct exposure, correct depth of field that you want, and then you're going to be adding a layer of light. That layer of light is going to be your speed light. So if I don't have enough light to throw at full power on SB28, SB910, SB800 speed light, what do I need to do? You can either get a studio strobe or you go the cheaper route. Get yourself 3 speed lights, a little adapter like that, and they're like 5 or there's a dozen different variations on the multiple speed light adapters that fit on the top of your light stand. This little sucker is like 10 bucks. Okay, so you're going to have 3 speed lights at 60 bucks a piece, so $180. All fits in your camera bag. This doesn't weigh anything, right? Okay. Now this is where you can save yourself a lot of money. $15 cheap Chinese light stand. Now one thing you're going to have to do when you get a large parabolic umbrella reflector, outdoors especially, obviously so, you're going to have wind issues because it's going to act like a parachute. The cheap way around that is to go to a hardware store and get a 5-pound dumbbell or a 10-pound dumbbell and tie it, lash it to the bottom, so when the wind comes along and you got a big umbrella reflector out, it's not going to blow it over. Also something you're going to have to pre-plan. Now what if I only have, first let's get into the umbrellas. So I got 3 speed lights, adapter for the top of that. Okay. Now you can actually get these for 45 bucks. This is a slightly more expensive one. This one is $100, so you can get the large umbrella reflectors like this for 45 bucks. With 3 speed lights, even 2 speed lights, depending on how close they are, you can really throw some light. So this is a dandy. This is a Westcott, and I think they're currently. Oh! I let my switch flip there. You can get these for 80 bucks. You can get the cheap Chinese knockoffs that are really just as good for like 50 bucks. But this is a good one. This is a Westcott. I got a couple of these. I got one I've used forever that's damaged, but that was because someone else broke it when I let it out to them. There's another rule: never lend out gear to people because they always abuse it. Even friends abuse gear. Keep it simple. What if I only have one umbrella? Well, here's something you can buy a 12-pack of for like $1 a piece. These don't tear like aluminum foil. They're Mylar emergency blankets. What the hell would I do with this? Use some clips. Okay, this isn't a complete blanket. Stick it in the back. Say I've only got one umbrella. I don't want to be a total cheapskate. I've already got a speed light. I've spent $30 total for cheap Chinese light stand, cheap soft satin umbrella, which you can use as a reflector, a white satin reflector, or a shoot through. You drop your speed light right here, do a shoot through. It makes amazing light, especially for rugrats. Stick a rugrat down there, pop your speed light, shoot through this umbrella. It makes amazing light for that heavenly illumination for rugrats. Same cheap umbrella reflector. Use some clips. Drop this up here. You know, I want it smooth. No, you don't. The effect that you get from the actual wrinkles and dimples on this is amazing. You use some clips. I don't have the clips right now, but you're going to clip this onto the center part of your umbrella. What I do actually is I'll take this off, I'll poke a hole through the center of this, and then I'll actually clip it to the inside. I don't have the time to do that right now, so take your emergency blanket. Oh my God, totally reusable. This stuff does not tear easily. $1. You got one umbrella reflector, but you want to do more with it, okay? This is only a part of one emergency blanket. This is actually, the emergency blankets are actually a lot larger than this. Poke a hole right through the center of it, bring your central core of your umbrella right through that, and then clip it on the inside here. Check out the effects you get. Amazing. Beautiful. Beautiful effect. All that money you're saving for the next lens, $1, $15, $5 more. Let me see. I've got $21 here that is going to rock my world more if I have a speed light, which I assume you do. If you don't, obviously you need to get a speed light. $21 that's going to rock your world in your photography more so than anything else. You say, well, I've got $600 saved up for the next lens. Spend 21 bucks for God's sakes. And like I said, the other two things that you need, when I say need, I actually do mean need, is at least one of these. You can JZ chain 2 of these together, $15 SC29 flash cable, and a 5-pack of these, because you'll always lose a couple of them. It is a cold shoot, a 1/4-inch adapter, okay? Let you stick this on the top of any light stand and then pop your speed light on the top of that light stand. Or you don't actually necessarily need that, because with one of these you have a hot shoe connector here and a 1/4-inch adapter here, and this will also fit on the top of your light stand. But once again, of course, you're cabled to your speedlight. That's why you want two of these. You can get 8 feet away from your umbrella. I have my model over here, my rug right over here, whatever the hell it is you're shooting. Simple. Do not be afraid of speedlight use. You're going to be using this in manual mode anyway. Take your dog, your cat, your child, your wife out into the backyard. Okay, bring your camera, set up your light stand and your umbrella. You know, really difficult. Only takes a few minutes to set up. How difficult is it? Oh my God, this takes so long. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Boom, pop in the umbrella. Your speed light, 30 seconds. Wireless trigger, or SC27 or 29 or SC17 flash sync cable, ready to go. Do you know how amazing you can make your shots, like early morning, late evening, or like under the shade of a tree? You take someone underneath a heavy shade tree, it's like, oh God, you know, I got the best, all my shots look muddy. You know, I've got the best camera in the world, the best lens in the world. You're going to have to use this stuff. Either that, and go on to the next video. I'm going to show you speedlight use tips and tricks, and I'm going to make things really, really simple. Yeah, and I know sometimes I repeat myself. Obviously, I'm verbose. Not in real life, I'm not verbose. I never talk, you know, 99% of the day, but I'm verbose in my videos. So the next video, I'm going to keep it really, really simple, and I'm going to show you how to use off-camera, non-TTL speedlights, and it'll be easy to remember that way. So let's rock on to the next video and learn how to do things simple, because simplicity is divinity. And you know, even though I repeat myself a bit too much, obviously so, you know, I hope that you get more out of these simple little videos, because I went to photography school. I mean, they would roll on about this stuff for a week, 2 weeks, a month. It's like, crap, you know, even though I repeat myself, I'm hitting all the points within, you know, 15 minutes here. Everything else, it's kind of like, well, I get that, and then boom, you got it. So I hit things pretty quick, even though I repeat myself. I just repeated myself about repeating myself. But the point is, stop blowing your money. You know, I got nothing against you blowing your money on another lens, but for God's sakes, blow your money on $21. $21. It's gonna rock your world. 21 bucks. Really $100 if you don't have the speedlight. Speedlight, the light stand, you know, the umbrella, SC29, SC17 sync cable, okay, or some wireless triggers, you know, 40 bucks for even the cheap Chinese wireless triggers, okay? You want to get the cheap Chinese wireless triggers, that's fine. Once you start getting some paid for gigs, you realize, they're not totally reliable, and then I want to get some really reliable wireless triggers, but that's on down the road for most of you, not all of you, but anyway, I like to keep things simple. So let's go on to the next video, and I'll show you tips and tricks on really, really, really easy ways to use your speedlights on cable, but off camera. Okay, bye.